Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, and today I wanted to talk about dreams. And by dreams, I don't mean the dream I had last night where I was a pilot inside a giant mech, I mean the game by Media Molecule called Dreams, which coincidentally would allow you to be a giant mech pilot among many other things if you got creative. This game was first teased way back in 2014, and since then we've seen snippets of gameplay at various different trade shows, and most recently, during this year's PlayStation press conference at E3, the little interstitials between the game announcements were actually made using Dreams. Then during the show itself, both myself and TwoSixNine had a chance to sit down for about an hour with Alex Evans from Media Molecule and play the game, and really get a better understanding for what exactly it is and what you can do. Because if you're anything like me, then you've likely seen the game shown off on a number of different occasions, but I'd be willing to bet you're still also sitting there thinking, what exactly is this game? What do you do? Well, having now played it and had a chance to look at some of the tools available, I thought it would be handy to explain exactly what Dreams is with a beginner's guide, single player, multiplayer, play, create, share, all that sort of stuff. So here is the ultimate beginner's guide to Media Molecule's Dreams. If you do enjoy this video, then a like would be super appreciated, and be sure to comment down below, let me know what you think, if you have any questions, or what more you'd like to see and know about this game. So, let's start at the top with what exactly is Dreams, since this is likely a question that a lot of people still have, and rightly so. I mean, Dreams isn't your conventional video game that is so easily categorized. At its core, it's a big sandbox, a place for you to essentially do what you want. Play, create, and share. That's sort of the mantra that Media Molecule have had from back in the Little Big Planet days, so if you've ever played that, then you already have a rough idea of what you're walking into. To quote the official website, Dreams is a space where you go to play and experience the dreams of Media Molecule and their community, but it's also a space where you create your own dreams, whether they're art, films, music, games, or anything in between. And dreams can be seen as experiences in-game, things you can jump into, play through, and as mentioned, they don't just have to be conventional game experiences. Some of them might be stories that are told as you progress, others might be trippy music videos, puzzle games, racing games, platformers, shooters. The tools in the game really do allow you to produce some truly outstanding creations, but at the same time, if creating isn't your thing, then the extensive catalogue of dreams that have already been created and will continue to be created will also give you plenty of things to dive into. But how does that actually play out in-game? Well, to begin with, you pick a little character to play as. These are called imps, and these will be what you control in-game and in the editor. They're both characters and cursors. Sometimes they'll be your vehicle for moving through the stages, meanwhile other times you'll use them to grab and move objects. So you can see imps as your way to interact with the world around you. The game supports multiplayer, so multiple people can pick imps, and provided the dream supports more than one player, then you can dive in together and play through different experiences, or create your own in co-op. Currently, multiplayer is limited to the number of controllers on a console, in other words 4, and at launch the game won't have online multiplayer, but this is something they plan to add soon after. Also on the topic of launch, there's still no release date, but it's supposedly slated for later on this year. But with your imp selected, it's then time to explore what Dreams has to offer. To begin with, you'll go through a little intro sequence, and this will teach you some of the basic controls for your imp, and different ways you can go about interacting with the world. You can move them around with the analog sticks or using the motion of the controller. You can grab onto objects, drag them, pull them, push them, that sort of thing. You can also possess certain objects in order to activate them or take control of them, and these can then become characters for certain dreams or stages that too carry their own properties, abilities to jump, climb, shoot, essentially whatever you've programmed them to do. With the tutorial out of the way, you'll then find yourself here. This is essentially your personal hub, a little barren at the moment, but this is a space that'll fill up over time as you play the game and make your own creations. It'll eventually become much more personal to you. From here, you can then dive into the menu, and it's at this point you can explore the core pillars of the game: play, create, and share. So let's start with play. Assuming you pick up the game and just want to experience what it has to offer, or perhaps use that to get inspiration for your own ideas, you can browse Dreams, and these will be games, experiences, stages, things that have been created by both Media Molecule and the community. Something interesting to note when speaking to the developers, all the dreams in-game have been created using the tools in the game. Whenever they make something new for people to play, the team at the studio also have to use the tools available in-game on console. So the stuff you're seeing here, the stuff you can play, has and will be made using the very same tools that will be available to us, the players. Obviously the team have extensive experience with those tools, so they can really make the most out of them, but it's incredible knowing that even down to things like these small cutscenes, this was done in-game. Now you can play the dreams as individual experiences, you can use the game search feature to look for dreams relevant to your interests, or you can dive into something called dream surfing, where the game will stitch together a selection of dreams by different creators, and each time you finish one, you'll move on to the next, in turn resulting in a rather varied and sometimes crazy experience. No two experiences are the same, and in a sandbox game like this, what you play is ultimately what someone wants to make. So some of the demos range from simple puzzle platformers to shooters, musical experiences to scary stories, and if along the way you get inspired to do something of your own, that's where Create comes in. Creation can be as simple or as complex as you want. The game has a ton of resources and tutorials for you to watch if you want to learn about the tools, but if you want to start off easier, you could opt to remix an existing dream. This allows you to take something that's already been created, dive inside, see how things were done, and make small adjustments. Perhaps you played on an official stage and you thought, you know what, that was good, but it would have been even better if, say, a meteor crashed down onto the final platform before the boss fight, so you might decide to do that. But if you want to delve deeper, you can start completely from scratch and build the whole world from the ground up. Different visual styles, camera angles, objectives, it's all down to you. At E3, we were a little bit more limited on time, so naturally we didn't sit down for hours on end and craft a fully fledged experience. But even with limited time, we hopped into a stage and began building out simple mechanics, copying and moving objects within the environment to create platforms, adding animation to those objects to add gameplay elements to the overall experience, adding triggers to set off the animations based on proximity, adding lights to make navigation a little bit easier, all simple stuff when done quickly, but also has the potential to be infinitely more complex. One of the stages we played earlier, this platforming dream, when you remix live in-game, you can begin to see how this animation for the boss was constructed. And it's not just the stages you make, you can also make your own music too. You can pick from pre-made stuff, or you can dive in and start mixing your own beats. Honestly, it was equal parts impressive and overwhelming just how much stuff you can do in this game. This really is a creator's heaven. It even goes as far as to lay the foundations for collaboration. You can actually search for people based on the kind of stuff that they do. So if you're making your own experience and you decide that you need some music but you're not really a musician yourself, you can actually search for creators that specialize in music within the game. You might want to search for someone that is a level designer or someone that's good at like animation, and you can then recruit them or kind of like message them from in-game and ask them to kind of collaborate on your project. So there really is a ton of stuff you can do. And of course, once you've made your experiences, you can share them. Share them with your friends, the community, the world. People can then play your dreams, remix them, rate them, all the stuff you'd expect. So to summarize all of this, Dreams is kind of like the ultimate sandbox that allows you to play a whole manner of wacky and awesome creations, whilst also giving you the tools to genuinely make whatever you want. So hopefully that shed a little bit more light on exactly what this game is, and maybe seeing some of the gameplay has helped you understand just how much you can do in this game. Of course, if you have any questions, by all means let me know, but otherwise, thank you very much for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.